In this video, we're going to be giving you an update on the major winter storm, which is expected to start tomorrow evening and run throughout Tuesday across much of the Midwest. Now, quick before we get into this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. And let's get into this. So look at the current GFS model with the time and date on the top right corner. You can see we have some snow starting around 6 p.m. January 4th on Saturday, with it some mix and freezing rain as well just below that snow. And the current 18Z run GFS model has this slightly more north, has the snow slightly more north here. As we run through 6 a.m. of Sunday, this is when the main event will begin. You can start to see a lot of freezing rain starting to pop up, some rain as well below that freezing rain. But a lot of freezing rain is going to be tracking here across southern Missouri, parts of eastern Kansas, going into much of Kentucky, and this general area of the border of Kentucky to Indiana and Illinois, Ohio. We'll be seeing the majority of this freezing rain event, as well as when you're at 6 a.m., you're going to start seeing some snow here in central Illinois, northern Missouri. This snow is just going to become more and more widespread across the day of Sunday. As we head further into Sunday, this is going to be 12 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, where you're seeing a lot of heavy snow. A lot of this heavier snow is going to be on the back end, especially, and even closer to this mixed line. You're going to see some big time snow rates, 1 to 2 inches per hour potentially for some areas. And if you have over 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, we potentially could see blizzard conditions in some of these areas as well. We head throughout 6 p.m. of Sunday, and you can see we have some severe storms here that will be heading throughout the south. It's going to be a line of storms with potentially embedded rotations that could lead to tornadoes. And heavier snow will continue through 6 p.m. on Sunday across this entire area of blue. Especially those darker blues, you're going to see those heavier snowfall rates. And then this starts to move eastward as we head through 12 a.m. Monday. So this is the overnight hours of Sunday into Monday. You're going to start to see a lot of snow here that's starting in Ohio. That freezing rain just continues. You're going to see a lot of freezing rain, a lot of ice here. We're potentially seeing half an inch of ice to 3/4 of an inch of ice in southern Illinois, southern Indiana. Much of Kentucky is going to see upwards of half an inch of ice as well. Southern Ohio and parts of West Virginia is going to see that ice, which will lead to power outages, tree damage, anything that's high up that's going to be taking this ice. It's going to have a lot of weight on it from that ice, so it's going to have that risk of falling. And then again, we have that backside of snow that continues in Missouri overnight Sunday into Monday. And then we head through 6 a.m. Monday, which this snow is still impacting areas of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. That morning commute for Monday is going to be not good at all for a lot of these areas, and the snow plows are definitely going to have a tough time in some of these areas where those snowfall rates are higher per hour. So if you have to go somewhere on Monday, definitely be careful out there, especially for those areas that are going to see an upwards of a foot or more of snow, and especially for those in that freezing rain area, which travel is going to be extremely dangerous. In this freezing rain area, that includes southern Missouri and eastern Kansas as well. We head through 12 p.m. Monday, and that snow finally starts to exit areas like Missouri and Illinois. It does continue a little bit in Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, but you can definitely see those colors getting lighter. That means that snow is getting lighter per hour for a lot of these areas. And then for your Monday, most of your Monday, the Mid-Atlantic is going to see definitely some snow. But definitely not as much as some of these areas in the Midwest. Now, we do have some higher definition models coming out now for this freezing rain event. We'll take a look at the snow amounts right after this. But as you can see, for freezing rain, according to the HRRR model, we are seeing some big time amounts here. So in more localized spots, more widespread, you're going to see upwards of 1/10 of an inch. In more of those redder colors, that's upwards of 1/20 of an inch of ice. But as you can see, we're seeing some darker colors in here, which are upwards of half an inch of ice to 3/4 of an inch of ice, which is extremely dangerous in some of these areas. It kind of curves over Springfield, Missouri. So it looks like Springfield, Missouri could be safe from this, but again, this could move south or north when the storm actually hits. So be aware of that. But as you can see, we have this swath here of extremely dangerous ice in upwards of half an inch or more, and this is also very close to St. Louis as well. But again, all these areas are going to be extremely dangerous for travel, nonetheless of how much ice you get. If you get more ice, that just means more impacts on potentially power lines and trees falling, causing damage to other property. We don't currently have models out for the rest of this ice storm, but we just have that right now. We have some lower resolution models currently for the eastern half of this ice storm, which again just look really bad here. You could see a lot of these colors are looking like potentially upwards of 3/4 of an inch to an inch of ice in some of these localized areas. I think according to this model, this will be more localized rather than widespread, upwards of an inch of ice, because that is a lot of ice. So keep in mind, this might be a little over exaggerated for this model, but this definitely could happen. Kentucky is seeing widespread ice that will again cause extremely dangerous traveling. This could cause potentially extreme impacts for southern Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and then going throughout northern Kentucky as well. Could definitely see some big time impacts from this ice storm. So time to prepare is now, as I do expect some prolonged power outages for these areas, which could be days with this amount of ice. And here is the GFS model for those snow totals for some of these western parts of the storm. Starting off with these light blues, you're going to see upwards of 1 inch to 2 inches of snow. And again, with these snow totals, you're going to see mainly ice in these areas. So anywhere south of St. Louis is likely to see freezing rain and accumulating ice. So no snow for those areas, but you could see some accumulating snow with the ice. That's possible too if it's cold enough. As you get into these darker blues, you're going to start to see 3 to 4 inches of snow. So areas like Topeka, Kansas, which are not in those blues, they are in those darker pink colors, which Topeka, Kansas is expected to see around 1 foot of snow. Near Lincoln, Nebraska is expected to see 1 foot of snow as well. More of these pinker colors, you're going to see around 8 to 10 inches of snow with 1 foot of snow possible in localized areas. Kansas City is expected to see over 1 foot of snow with potentially upwards of 15 inches of snow there. Much in northern Missouri is expected to see over 1 foot, with again areas receiving even 1.5 feet of snow as well. And as we head further east, you can see this swath of snow just continues east. Again, anywhere under this line, I'll make that line actually the color yellow. So anywhere under this line is expected to see that freezing rain. But again, you could potentially see some snow with that freezing rain as well. But anywhere below that yellow line is expected to see freezing rain. Anywhere above that, you're probably going to see a lot of snow here. For the majority of this darker pink color, you're seeing over 1 foot of snow with upwards of 1.5 feet of snow. I don't expect anywhere to see 2 feet of snow, but some occasional areas you might see more snow than expected, which could lead to 2 feet. And then as you head further northward, you're going to see more towards 6 to 10 inches of snow. Those blues, you're going to see more of 2 to 4 inches. And then as you get to these more lighter blues, you're going to see more of a dusting of snow pretty much. But again, central Indiana, Indianapolis is going to see around 15 inches of snow. And some of these more lighter pinks, I don't know what you call that color, but that is even more snow expected. So if you're some of these more lighter colors, again, that's more of those localized areas where it could be a lot more than 1 foot of snow. Heading through Ohio, again, Cincinnati could very well see ice, but you could very well see snow. Cincinnati is just going to be right on that line of ice and snow. Much of the Columbus area is going to see over 1 foot of snow, while Cleveland sees around a dusting of snow, not much there at all. But much of central Cleveland is going to see near 1 foot of snow, with some of those lighter pinks again being just less than 1 foot. And then heading even further east, for areas like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, you're going to see definitely some areas, like those mountainous areas of the Appalachians, potentially upwards of a foot of snow. Some of these more pinky colors, again, 6 to 10 inches of snow expected. In areas like Pittsburgh, again, around 6 to 8 inches. Really not much snow is going to be expected for north of here, besides lake effect snow. But even New Jersey, southern New Jersey, which doesn't typically see snow, and Delaware, could definitely see quite a bit of snow for their liking from this storm as well. If you enjoyed the video, go down below and hit that big red subscribe button. Like the video, leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I'll be sure to answer them with the best of my ability. And share this video with anyone that might be impacted by the storm. But as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.